Ganondorf is the coldest video game villain of all time, and I am here to prove why that is. With all the crazy hype going on right now because of Tears of the Kingdom, you already know the streets had to make a video about Zelda. And I'm not gonna lie either, this new game got me bouncing off the walls like I'm 8 years old again. Oh my god, Nintendo snapped. But look, we can talk about Tears in a whole other video. We're here right now to talk about the red-haired nightmare himself, Ganondorf. Now let's rewind the tape and start back from the beginning. Ganondorf. Of course, you already know we gotta talk about the game that gave us the Ganondorf that we all know and love, Ocarina of Time. First things first, man, just look at this design, man.
Oh no, he's hot!
Nintendo was cooking back in the day and they created a design for Ganondorf that was so fire they had to run it back and use it again in Smash Ultimate 20 years later. Let's start at one of my favorite scenes in the entire game. The scene where Ganondorf and Link go face to face for the first time. As soon as they came face to face with each other, I already knew that Ganondorf was him. This man showed up and his theme started playing in the back with that crazy intro. This man was legit on his horse riding through the darkness of the night like he was Batman.
Where are they?
He literally made Zelda, the princess of Hyrule, mind you, flee from her own castle. Letting someone run you out of your own castle is crazy. And after my man Ganondorf saw Link at the castle gates, he was like, yo, youngin', you gotta run the info. I know you saw the princess leave. And of course, my boy Link doesn't say anything, the young goat that he is. So what does Ganondorf do? This man laughs in Link's face and hits him with that dark magic blicky. He literally tells Link, he was like, yo, do you know who I am? I'm the person who's going to rule the world, and he rides off into the darkness. You cannot tell me that ain't the coldest introduction for a villain you've ever seen. Flash forward 7 years and the entire kingdom of Hyrule is in ruins because of Ganondorf's reign of terror. I love when games make the villain get a win in the middle of the story because it shows that my man was not joking. Bro manifested his own future. You love to see it. He manipulated Link like he was Aizen from Bleach. I'm not even joking. When Link opened that door of time, he was like, thanks kid for making my dreams come true. I knew you had the key to the door of time. We gotta talk about one of my favorite scenes in the entire game. Near the end of the game, when Link is climbing up the tower in the Hyrule Castle and you hear the background music, you hear that organ playing and you're like, damn, this kinda going crazy. Who's playing the organ? Then you finally get to the top of the tower, you open the door, and you see Ganondorf himself playing his own theme song. Are y'all starting to see what I'm talking about, bro? Like, you don't get colder than that. Literally ice in his veins. If I was Link during that situation and I was walking up the stairs and you just hear this strange music playing, and then when you get to the top, you see your op playing the music and he turns around and is like, finally, you're here. I would be scared silly, bro. My man Ganondorf was out here like Dracula playing the organ. Shit is crazy. He even had Zelda trapped mid-air in a damn snow globe, bro. The fight after this cutscene is one of the most memorable bosses in gaming. I don't even have to say anything about it. Ganondorf activates his Buku Jutsu like he's Tien, and his boss theme starts playing in the back, so you know it's about to go down. Ganondorf and Link engage in the most intense match of tennis you've ever seen, and of course, my boy Link has to come out on top. And after my boy Link beats Ganondorf, my boy was absolutely shocked. He was like, how could I let this kid beat me? He couldn't believe he lost. He was so shocked that he was like, bro, if I'm dying, everybody's dying too. I don't care. I'm taking everybody with me. Link and Zelda eventually escape the tower after it starts crumbling in on itself, but not before Zelda drops literally the worst trash talk I've ever seen. She was trash talking Ganondorf like she actually did something the entire game. Like, bro, be quiet.
We do not care.
You trash talking the same dude that ran you out of your own castle. You cannot say nothing. There's no comeback from that. And of course, after all the heroes think everything's sweet, in classic villain fashion, my boy Ganondorf shows up one last time and transforms into Dark Beast Ganon. Cue the music, man. This game be glazing Ganondorf like crazy, bro. Every time he shows up on the screen, they be playing his theme song like he's a superhero. Now we all know what happens after this cutscene ends and Link and Ganon start fighting, so we might as well go ahead and move on to the next version of Ganondorf. Now, the first thing I want to mention is the cutscene where they explain Ganondorf's backstory for Twilight Princess, because I can tell you right now, it's easily one of the best scenes in the entire game. The reason why it's one of the best cutscenes in the entire game is because they had this man Ganondorf chained up. They thought it was over. They thought the job was done. They were about to kill this man off for his crimes against humanity. And these sages that were looking at Ganondorf, they were so scared, they couldn't even say his name, bro. He was that powerful. He had them that shook. How do you chain somebody up like an animal and you can't even kill them right? This man Ganondorf literally pulled an Infinity War Thanos moment. The moment the sages saw that Ganondorf was coming back to life, they were like, bro, are you serious?
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Is this a joke or something? They saw this man's face come back to life and they were like, these gods must be playing a sick joke on me. There's no way this dude is still alive. They stabbed him in the chest and everything. Now I want you to look at this face right here. And if you tell me this is not the face of true evil, I don't know what true evil is. Now let's fast forward to the end of the game when Link finally is able to confront Ganondorf. And at the end of the game, you see this man Ganondorf sitting on the throne in the coldest pose possible. And when he stands up, he makes sure he takes his sweet damn time, and then he hits you with that grin. And once again, he had this girl Zelda suspended in midair. This man literally treats her like a toy in every damn game. It's crazy. I don't see Bowser doing none of this with Princess Peach, bro. You cannot tell me Ganondorf is not him. I can tell y'all right now that the Ganondorf fight in this game is absolutely the best in the entire series. They got you fighting this man like 4 or 5 different times. It's crazy. And every single fight is godlike. The first phase of the boss fight is mostly just a rehash of the boss fight from Ocarina of Time. But I actually think it's pretty cool. It's a really cool homage to the death match of tennis that you play in Ocarina of Time. This man Ganondorf is not afraid to change genders. I told y'all he was him, or actually her, because he actually possesses Zelda and fights Link in the first phase.
Oh, brother!
After playing the second most intense match of tennis in your life, the second phase begins. And oh my goodness, this second phase? This is my favorite part of the boss fight. This man Ganondorf was not messing around. He immediately transforms into Dark Beast Ganon, and that beat drop had me like... The music for this boss fight is literally perfect. I could not cook up something better even if I was a master musician. Now, I'll be honest with y'all. I much prefer the Ganon that looks like a beast of nature and not the Ganon that looks like a giant, fat, blue version of Oolong from Dragon Ball. Being able to go head to head as Wolf Link versus Dark Beast Ganon had me so geeked as a kid. This fight is so good, I literally come back to watch it over and over whenever someone mentions Twilight Princess. That's how much I love this boss fight. I love that instead of saving the Dark Beast of Nature for last, you get to fight him midway through the boss battle. And of course, it feels so satisfying when you play tug of war and you get to throw that gigantic beast to the side and you start chomping on him as Wolf Link into that giant scar. It's just so raw. I don't know what it is with Nintendo cooking up these crazy boss fights for Zelda, but in every game, they just don't miss. They're all good. Every single Ganondorf boss fight is amazing, and I'm not even finished talking about the Twilight Princess boss fight. Now that last phase, ooh boy, that last phase. Of course it's a banger final boss fight. This man Ganondorf shows up at the field on his horse like Rao from Fist of the North Star. He was doing wheelies on his horse, bro. I swear to God, this man Ganondorf be posing for the gram. You cannot tell me otherwise. The final fight has you in a crazy 1v1. Link versus Ganon on the Hyrule field while it's thunderstorming in the background. They battle it out in a test of swordsmanship. And you know what? I haven't even mentioned that the sword that Ganondorf is using is literally the same sword that the sages used to try and kill him with. He's literally using his ops weapon. That is some crazy badass shit right there. And speaking of badass, this man Ganondorf is so sure he's about to beat Link into the ground. Every time Link misses, he starts pointing at him and taunting him like, bro, you are nothing to me. That is some crazy Black Air Force energy right there. You know my man Link was not gonna take that lightly, so you know he had to hit him with that 1-2-3 combo with the little sword stab in the chest on the side. But ladies and gentlemen, we are not done enjoying Ganondorf yet. This man can't even die without doing something badass. He had the Master Sword stuck in his torso, and he drops the coldest line of dialogue I've ever heard. The history of light and shadow will be written in blood. And then he dies standing on 10 toes. You literally can't write it better than that.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Last and certainly not least, you know we gotta talk about Ganondorf in Wind Waker. Ganondorf in this game is completely different than the other versions you've seen. The first time him and Link meet up, this man Link was literally shaking in his boots, bro. He was scared as soon as Ganondorf turned around and he saw his face. Speaking of Toon Link, he might just be the dumbest person I've ever seen in any video game. Ganondorf literally tells him when they meet that since he pulled the Master Sword, he released the seal on Ganondorf in all of his power. And what does Toon Link do after he says that? This man tries to charge at him like a bull. Bro, did you not hear what this man just told you? What did he think was going to happen? Now, this is an older and wiser Ganondorf, which as a concept is fire because everything we've seen from Ganondorf has just been pure arrogance and malice and hatred. This Ganondorf shows a lot more restraint. It's actually cool when the main villain of a series gets to mix up his personality. In this game, Ganondorf seemed to at least care for his country and people. He even said the reason why he wanted to conquer Hyrule is because his country brought nothing but cold death and burning heat. This is a Ganondorf that has waited years and years to get what he desires, so I guess all that time waiting and plotting allowed him to mellow out a little. When you reach the final battle, he even tells you that he'll spare Link and Zelda as long as he gets his wish from the Triforce. Now you remember when I mentioned Oolong earlier? Yeah, the King of Hyrule literally pulls an Oolong in front of Ganondorf and steals his wish from him. It's actually so freaking hilarious because how did he even get into the position to steal the wish? They had it out for my man Ganon, bro. He can never get a win. This man literally waited decades to try and get the Triforce all together to make his wish, and it all gets taken in front of him. And you know what he does? He starts laughing like a maniac. This game literally gave us the greatest evil villain laugh of all time. And what did I say earlier? Cue the music, man. This final boss fight has my personal favorite song in all of the Zelda games. It is just so good. Everything about this fight in particular is so perfect. The setting, the music, Ganondorf dual wielding swords is so badass. Even the final combo, the final blow to Ganondorf is so perfect. Now I know I was praising Nintendo this whole entire video, but I have to call them out on this. How do you fumble Ganondorf in Smash 3 different times? We all know and love Sakurai, but bro, he literally makes some of the worst decisions when it comes to the cast in Smash Bros. You know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. In Melee, having Ganondorf just be a clone of Captain Falcon, you know what? That's alright because that game was rushed and it was made like 20 years ago, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But Brawl, you had no excuse to not give this man his own original moveset. This man had so many different options to choose from when it came to a potential moveset for Ganondorf. There's just no excuse for it at all. How can you give Mario a cape to reflect items and projectiles and not give the same thing to Ganondorf when he was literally reflecting a projectile in Ocarina of Time. This man didn't even let him use no magic, no nothing, bruh. All he gets is Warlock Punch and that fake Falcon kick. And I'm not even gonna hold y'all, bro. After seeing Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom, I was so pressed about how they treated Ganondorf in Smash. I was actually so hot. But you know what? I'm not even surprised. You know why? Because the same thing happened to Sonic the Hedgehog.
You're too slow.
Sakurai literally just Control V, both of their movesets in multiple different games. But enough complaining, we might as well just go ahead and end off the video. I've said what I needed to say. I really spent 20 minutes gassing up Ganondorf.